8 dumb people versus professional fighters. Could you imagine being so delusional that you think you can hop off the couch and beat a professional fighter at their own game? It may come as a surprise, but there are people out there that truly believe they can do that. Here we'll show you 8 more times dumb people thought they could beat professional fighters. Bodybuilder takes on a female purple belt. Does brute strength trump technique when it comes to fighting? The answer is not even close. This answer is shown emphatically when this buff guy challenged a female purple belt to a grappling match. The bodybuilder began spouting off some trash talk, but quickly learned that his quips won't fight for him. The purple belt snapped the bodybuilder down from a front headlock position, then seamlessly worked her way to the back of her opponent. From there, she controlled the far side wrist and eventually put her hooks in, giving her the ideal position to sink in a rear naked choke. And that she did. Turns out that fighting like a girl is a pretty good thing. The bodybuilder's ego was bigger than his bicep, so he didn't tap out, and subsequently, it was nap time. Jiu Jitsu really is the gentle art in the mixed martial arts community, and it's seen here as this small female purple belt was able to knock this large man down a peg or two. Did you find this clip satisfying? Probably not as satisfying as hitting that like button, though. Go ahead, try it out. Novice takes on purple belt. If the last video taught us anything, it's that Jiu Jitsu irrefutably works. Here we have another clip of a purple belt doing his thing against a beginner that challenged him. Right away, the purple belt clings onto his opponent and attacks him with a cross-collar choke, forcing the challenger to tap out. They agreed to run it back, and this time the purple belt played with his food a bit more. He pulled guard and eventually worked his way to his opponent's back. The purple belt was never in any danger, so he felt that he could take his time to show off a bit more while humbling the challenger. After taking the newcomer's back, the purple belt tapped him out once again, this time with a bow and arrow choke, which, if you're unfamiliar, hurts like hell. How long do you think you could hang in there with a purple belt? Let us know down below. Heavyweight learns the hard way that size isn't everything. Sure, there are weight classes for a reason, but that's when the skill levels are a bit more evenly matched than, say, a bout between a trained fighter and a street fighter. When this large man entered the gym and challenged a fighter named Hawk, he let his emotions get the best of him, and he went 100%, which isn't something that people should do when sparring. Sparring should be a safe way to learn and grow, all while somewhat imitating the feel of an actual fight. Going all out is a quick way for fighters to get hurt and shorten their careers. This heavyweight was trying to knock Hawk's head into orbit, and he paid dearly for it. Hawk defended his larger opponent's onslaught perfectly and began teeing off when he saw the door of opportunity open. He alternated between striking the head and the body, which made it very hard for the larger opponent to know what to defend and when to defend it. Hawk then really dug into the body shots. This spelled the end of the larger man's attempts at defeating a trained fighter half his size. You know what's better than hitting the body? Hitting that share button. Show your friends this video and help us grow the channel. We do appreciate it. Another buff challenger, another humbling beating. While this challenger seems to actually have a bit of boxing experience, or at least the know-how of not striking like an idiot, it wasn't enough to overcome the task in front of him. That task being a highly trained boxer. The larger man had some solid offense, but instead of bringing his hands back to his face after striking, he would drop his hands to his hips, then bring them back up high. Throwing punches shouldn't look like operating a rowboat. Punches should go from A to B and immediately back to A. The smaller but better trained fighter threw a 1-2 that was more unexpected than my wife leaving and put the larger fighter's lights out. Once again, technique triumphs over muscle mass. Buff guy goes from challenger to student. When this tattooed and less green hook of a man walked into Robert Mora's academy, he thought he could beat anyone and everyone in the building. He was so confident that he was willing to pay $20 to anyone who could defeat him. Robson saw this opportunity to snag this $20 for a tenth of a tank of gas while simultaneously earning another student. So he told the challenger that if he won in under 5 minutes, he'd have to sign up as a student. The match starts and Robson easily finishes a single leg takedown. From there, he's really just playing with his opponent, Eventually, he sinks in a guillotine choke and the buff guy's forced to tap. Despite the tap, the action didn't stop there. Robson continued to grapple with the bigger guy and made everything look easy. The coach almost locked in an armbar, but he showed mercy after his opponent let him know that he had a shoulder injury. Afterwards, the buff guy was left asking, "How's he doing this?" Fake kung fu teacher takes on a real martial artist. The original clip says that the man dressed like Hank Hill claims to be a kung fu master. We assume that he entered this gym looking to test his skills against another martial artist. Well, this delusion earned him a life lesson. Don't lie about your martial arts pedigree. Immediately, the actual martial artist, seen here in the blue gi, lands some pretty heavy kicks. These strikes immediately have the supposed kung fu master only thinking of defense. The kicks range from low to high and almost always find their mark. After accumulating enough damage to be sore for a lifetime, the challenger was dropped with a series of right hands and placed in a rear naked choke. Would you believe this guy if he told you he was a kung fu master? Yeah, we wouldn't either. Jiu Jitsu girl dominates a Marine. Being a great fighter doesn't have a typical look. If this video has shown anything, it's that being the bigger and badder looking fighter in an equation doesn't mean that they're the best fighter between the two. Here we have a girl taking on a Marine. Though the Marine is bigger and looks tougher, it's the girl that shows the better fighting skills. The two get started and the Marine has a little bit of success early on as he secures a sloppy double leg takedown. That's about it as far as his success here though. The trained girl scrambles and secures a front headlock position, with which she drops back to attack the Marine with a guillotine choke. The Marine powers his way up to his feet and out of the choke, but he was out of the proverbial frying pan and into the fire. The smaller girl spins behind, locks in a rear naked choke, throws her hooks in to ensure she stays on the back, and voila, a near perfect performance. Though the Marine even slammed her to the mat in desperation to escape the choke, he had no choice but to tap out or get put to sleep. Be honest, did you think that this was how the match was going to play out? Or were you surprised like the rest of us? Let us know down below. Sean O'Malley takes on a fan. When one of Sugar Sean's Twitch subscribers challenged him to a 3-round battle inside the cage, O'Malley gave him everything he asked for, and more. O'Malley's a prolific finisher at the highest level of combat and is working his way up the ranks of the UFC's talent-steep bantamweight division. His opponent? Well, we're sure he's good at something, just not fighting. Sugar's obviously taking it easy on the guy, but he's still sparring with the flair that he brings into the UFC's octagon with him. After picking apart the challenger from the outside, Sean lands a series of body shots that force the opposition to double over in pain. The entire video is O'Malley toying with the challenger and really emphasizing the skill discrepancy between professional fighters and regular people that get a little too cocky. That does it for the video. Let us know which beating you found most satisfying down below. If you're enjoying the content, let us know by liking and subscribing. Hit that bell icon to make sure you never miss a future video. Until next time.